I'm sure you're all familiar with Paleo diet, right? Obviously, pretty big buzzword over in the diet world last couple of years. So I found this super interesting. We can talk about the role of the microbiome in the Paleo diet, right? Never really realized there's a strong connection. So essentially, when you're following the Paleo diet, you're recreating the way our ancestors ate during the Paleolithic age, right? So this is before the invention of agriculture. So Paleo, people who practice Paleo believe one thing: the human genes evolved when our ancestors were still hunters and gatherers. And if you really think about it in that respect, that doesn't make much sense. Like, obviously, we've developed since those times. Like, we're not still covered in hair. Our bodies have adjusted to the time and place that we live in. So they have the theory that our genes have simply not had the time to catch up to a diet of grains and legumes, which we're eating now, but we're not eating prior. But the reality of it is, our bodies have far more flexibility than they would lead you to believe, because they leave out the crucial factor of the microbiome, right? So not only do our bacteria outnumber us, but so do the genes in the microbiome outnumber our genes. So in many ways, they have more influence over our day-to-day life than our own genes. Again, the bacteria is kind of calling the shots. They rule all. So we talked a little bit about what a balanced versus an unbalanced microbiome looks like, right? So what does that have to do with paleo? So the paleo view is that human genes evolve almost with like a glacial slowness that we haven't yet caught up to the dietary changes of today. But yes, human genes do change slowly, but the population of your microbiome, however, can flip itself in a day, completely regenerate. So the average lifespan of a microbe is only 20 minutes, right? So that's long enough for your entire microbiome to change its composition. So you can wake up with one microbial composition on a Monday, and by Tuesday, it could be completely transformed. So what does that mean, right? Like, what changes the population of your microbiome? What type of factors? Environment, exercise, sleep, stress, but most importantly, your diet, right? So how you eat determines which of your microbes live happily within your gut and which ones die off and kind of disappear. So the paleo people actually have it backwards. It's not that our genes have programmed us to eat only certain foods, it's rather our diet programs our microbiome and its genes. Does that make sense? So for example, they did a study and they fed one control group tons of meat, tons of protein. Second group, they gave them a fully plant-based diet. Well, they found that each group began to develop the very type of bacteria that they needed to break down the specific foods that they were eating, right? So the microbiome's dynamic ability to respond to our diet is kind of why our bodies are able to eat lots of different types of food. I mean, look at us, internationally, remarkably wide range of diets across the world, but people adjust and they are able to eat what it is their local foods are offering. So kind of puts the whole paleo idea, to question, basically.